Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report live on Joy 99.7 FM and KTU Radio in Ofori-Atta. Shouts to you all listening from Ofori-Atta. Coming up this morning, government advice reduces commercial borrowings on the international market since there cannot be burden sharing if it defaults on its loans. Also, Bank of Ghana data shows economy demonstrating signs of recovery with activities in some sectors picking up over the past 6 months. Plus, government urged to be transparent with independent power producers as they meet today to discuss debt payment. We'll hear from the power producers. Stay tuned. My name is Daryl Kwao. Thanks for being with us this morning. First up, government has been advised to reduce its commercial borrowings on the international market since there cannot be burden sharing if it defaults on its loans. According to the Vice President of Ofori-Atta, Bryce Simmons, since commercial loans do not come with a program, there is the tendency for government to exhibit indiscipline and misapply the funds. In Africa, 21 countries are currently either bankrupt or in financial distress. Speaking to Qatar Television, Mr. Simon said that the nature of debt has changed, so Ghana must be aware of its commercial borrowing since it cannot share the burden with creditors when it fails to pay back the loans.
Because the nature of who is lending has changed. The debates that we all supported in the early 2000s around odious debt and the rest no longer apply. Why? Because in the early 2000s, certainly the 90s, 80% of Africa's debt, for instance, was owed to official creditors, IMF, World Bank, rich country governments. Why is that important? It's important because they lent the money on the basis of programs. So they come to your country and say, look, this is the path we have with you. Here is how you intend to invest the money. And they make an input. In those circumstances, if the countries can't pay back, you need to share the blame between those who give them the money for those programs and made an input into those programs and the government. In the case of private investors, they don't have that influence. And mom and pop does not have any influence on government's policy. And therefore, if Ghana government policy fails and Ghana government cannot pay back, we cannot expect the same degree of blame sharing.
You had Bryce Simmons, the Vice President of Ofori-Atta. Now, the economy continues to show signs of recovery with activities in some sectors picking up. This is based on analysis of data from the Bank of Ghana. Here's George Jaffe with more.
There were concerns that the pickup in the first quarter of this year could be slowing down in the second half. This was based on fears that we might be hit by the aftershocks of the domestic debt exchange program. But a careful look at the numbers showed that the recovery has been sustained, but maybe at a slower pace. Port activities, which was a major challenge coming from last year, is also picking up, a development that could impact on revenue and tax collections. Another major indicator, that is the Bank of Ghana's Real Composite Index of Economic Activities, have witnessed some marginal growth. Domestic VAT collections, industrial consumption of electricity, and exports are posting some interesting numbers, which will weigh on the larger economy to aid this recovery. The Ghana city has consolidated gains made from June this year and is projected to remain strong in the coming months, based on the expected donor inflows. However, some have argued that sustaining this recovery will be based on how government carefully sticks to implementing the IMF program, as well as being disciplined with its expenditure. The World Bank is projecting that the Ghanaian economy should recover strongly from 2025. The bank's country director, in an interview with the BBC, has maintained that the institution itself is surprised about the pace of recovery, especially for an economy that is undergoing a debt exchange program.
George Jaffe with that report. Now, the Ghana Electronics and Musical Instruments Dealers Association is asking the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, to use a media budget to address exchange rate challenges in the country. Chairman of the association, Vincent Osei, appealed to the Finance Minister to consider pegging the cedi at a fixed rate to reduce the cost of doing business.
The main point is the city. No businessman in Ghana, if the city is fluctuating, you'll be able to work out things well. No businessman. If the city is pegged at one position, then you businessman, you can sit down and plan very well. As you will say, if I'm bringing this one, this is how I'm going to sell it. If the city is not pegged at one position, selling even become difficult. You have borrowed some money from the bank, bring out goods, and now the city is inflating. So you can't even price your goods. Your loan to is draining you. So it's become very, very difficult. So if the finance minister will be able to touch on this area, I think it will help us.
You had Chairman of the Electronics and Musical Instruments Dealers Association, Vincent Osai, speaking to Joy Business at a health screening organized by the association as part of its 15th anniversary celebration. Moving on, the Ghana International Bank in the UK has declared its commitment to supporting local banks in fighting financial crimes and other related fraud cases. According to the bank, it has been equipped with the necessary resources and tools to handle such cases. Speaking at a training for partner banks in Africa, Chief Banking Officer of the Ghana International Bank, Ofori-Atta, underscored the need for collaboration to fight fraud in the banking sector.
We are in the UK, we have upscaled, we are strong, robust, and we feel that we need to pass that knowledge on to the African banks. The recommendation really is to try and obviously upscale their financial crime risk. We want to see ourselves as a go-to bank for them and give them the necessary knowledge and information. Obviously, it's a constant dynamic situation. Anything happens and then they're changing rules and regulations. We have the regulator talking to us day in, day out, giving us. So we use that to pass information on to our African respondents so that they are also up to.
Chief Banking Officer of the Ghana International Bank, Ofori-Atta. Now, as the independent power producers meet with government today to demand payment of power produced over the years, the Institute for Energy Security is appealing to the Finance Ministry to pay debt owed the power suppliers. Joy Business is learning that the debt owed the IPPs would hit $2.2 billion by the end of this month. The IPPs, who are unhappy, have threatened to stop supplying power to the national grid because government has breached its promise to settle part of the debt. Executive Director of the IES, Anamwesi the 7th, urged government to be transparent with the power producers in order to win their trust.
What we expect from government and the best posture government can give to this independent producers is that, look, we owe you this much. We are making this attempt to pay you. However, going forward, we are ensuring that there are no backlog in your payment. I think that will be enough an assurance to them that going forward, we have consistent and reliable stream of revenue that we can expect to manage our obligations to other suppliers, be it fuel suppliers or other financiers of this plan. It's a huge, assurance that government can give to them, and it will serve as a good relief for them. Make sure that you are not going to delay any payment going forward, while you give some firm assurance to them on what is owed in the past.
Executive Director of the IES, Anamwesi the 7th. President of the Coffee Federation of Ghana, Chief Nathaniel Eboinsako, has called on government to initiate steps in making coffee production attractive to many farmers. According to him, the commodity has the potential to generate more foreign exchange for the country.
We want to make sure that the partnership that we have is real partnership, so that European importers, producers, traders, actors in the sector of coffee can really partner with the Ghanaian companies, in particular with the Ghanaian farmers, which I think is the key sector that we want to support in this project, and also the other actor in the areas. So we have the traders, we have the marketing people, we have the roasters also, which I think is important for making sure that the added value is kept in Ghana, so that Ghana benefit of the value addition of the coffee sector.
So you rather had the head of the EU-Ghana delegation, Raphael Kweto, on coffee production here in Ghana. You're listening to the Joy Business Report. Don't hesitate to report suspicious investment companies to the appropriate regulator, such as the Bank of Ghana or the Securities and